Check this out. A nasty discovery washing up on the shores of a large carcass of an unknown animal found on that beach.
Even though the windows were covered with rain, I could see something that looked unfamiliar, odd.
I've stumbled across something weird. Look at it. How weird is that?
Lots of large and mysterious creatures lurking. That's got everyone talking. Some viewers might find some of these images disturbing.
It's just a sad thing. We don't expect it to happen.
Residents of a coastline village in South Sulawesi, Indonesia, were left scratching their heads when they found a very bizarre creature washed up on the shore, with a fish-like tail and an odd upper body submerged in water. Locals were terrified, thinking it was a mermaid. With no movement in its body, they were sure it had passed away. Finding a deceased mermaid first thing in the morning wasn't something they had expected. Skeptics dismissed the mermaid claims, saying it was a marine creature named a dugong. But I'd like to know what you guys think of this creature too. Aquatic Mystery.
I've stumbled across something weird.
This bizarre creature was washed ashore on a Thailand beach, leaving visitors stunned by its unusual mix of features. A head resembling a human's, hands like a frog's, and a body that left everyone puzzled. The clip sparked a frenzy of speculations among locals and online communities, with some saying that it might be a failed scientific experiment, while others thought it could be an elaborate prank or an artistic creation.
How weird is that?
Among all the guesses, the true identity of the creature remained unknown, leaving locals fearful about the possibility of such creatures existing in reality. Baby dragon. This clip, claiming to have captured a baby dragon in real life, has been going around on the internet. It looked like this guy really encountered a dragon swimming underwater. Dragons are quite significant in Chinese folklore, so they took the sighting as a good omen and believed good things were bound to happen. However, if this was really the ancient mythical creature or not, well, nothing was said for sure. Possum Fish. While taking a walk around a nearby swamp, a woman spotted an unusual creature. Initially, it appeared to be an opossum stuck in the water. To take a closer look, the woman tried to lure it out of the water with a treat, but her efforts were unsuccessful. Deciding not to disturb it further, she let the creature be. The sighting sparked speculation about its identity, with some suggesting it could be a rare aquatic species, while others believe it might just be a mutant fish. River monster. A Malaysian family's trip to the woods went sideways when they encountered a creepy entity lurking in the water. Giant, dark being with red eyes and fang-like teeth hanging out of its mouth, it gave everyone the creeps. Thinking it was the emergence of the legendary Raya ghost found in many Malaysian folklore, a spirit called during black magic to get evil tasks done. When locals heard about the sighting, they were left terrified and avoided visiting that murky swamp. Gollum Creature. Going out on an exploration trip, a guy came across this creature roaming the wild. Its unusually pale appearance and creepy walk didn't look like any known animal. The guy was sure he had found some alien being in the wild. Many people even thought it looked like the Gollum Creature from the series The Lord of the Rings. Keeping an eye on it, he quickly called the authorities so they could get a hold of the creature. When they arrived and took a closer look at the critter, they found it was actually a sun bear suffering from mange, a skin disease that caused it to lose all of its hair. Inexplicable creature. Water ghost, monster, or some kind of alien being, this clip has been a mystery for many, as they can't figure out what this thing in the water was. A lot of folks claimed it was some alien creature. Many even thought it could be a hybrid fish thing. But with only a short clip, the creature remained unidentified. If you've got any guesses, leave them in the comments. Human-faced fish. This fish with a strange appearance, found in a Japanese pond, caught the attention of many. Swimming just like any other fish, it was its facial features that set it apart, which looked creepily similar to a human's. Many internet folks said there was a human spirit inside that fish's body. But this wasn't the only time these human-faced fish were seen. About a decade ago, a whole bunch of these fish were captured. Again in Japan. Is it something in the Japanese waters, or was it just a coincidence? Giant anaconda. Out on an exploration trip to the Amazon River in Brazil, a woman encountered the most giant and the most dangerous of reptiles, an anaconda. Kayaking around the river, they noticed a serpent lying near the shore. Rowing the boat near it, the guy poked it with its paddle. Not the smartest of moves. As the anaconda moved, its huge size and a giant bulging belly became more prominent. Thankfully, it slithered away. However, it didn't end there. Her tour guide, he was more reckless than you can think, ignoring the screaming woman. He went ahead and followed the snake deliberately. To give the tourist a better look at the Amazonian wildlife. Taking the tail of the serpent in his hand, he pulled it along with the boat. Probably, the snake was well fed and didn't want to take them down. Proboscis Thing. This guy's trip turned upside down when he found a strange worm-like creature slowly walking in the water. When he touched it with his finger, he was shocked to see it spread out like its insides were squeezed out. Well, in a way, it is their insides. It's their very own way of scaring away predators. Whenever something tries to attack them, they throw out their guts at them, and I think it works like a charm. I know I wouldn't want to do anything with this guy. Crazy carp. What's up with these fishermen that's causing all these fish to go crazy like this? In this river in Kentucky, these men were hunting carp, an Asian species that has invaded American waters. And the method they are using is electric fishing. That's an illegal hunting method, but unfortunately, it's used by many anglers to paralyze fish and to catch many animals in a short amount of time. Underwater ghost. A guy was enjoying his boating adventure when he noticed a strange figure underwater. Its form was eerily similar to a human, but with a ghostly pale color and hollow eyes. Its presence was creepy enough to be signed off as a ghost. The guy who encountered this suggested it could be an alien visiting the underwater base. However, skeptics believe the clip was a computer-generated hoax. If you've got any idea about this, don't forget to share it in the comments. Sea dragon. A group of tourists visiting Alaska encountered something that looked right out of a creepy movie. Near a collapsed glacier, they noticed a group of 7 fin-like structures protruding out of the water, making it look like some giant creature was lurking underwater. They noticed the creature was skillfully swimming, half hidden underwater, only offering a glimpse of its form. When the clip ended up online, some said it was the Alaskan river monster, while others thought it could be a dragon living in the underwater caves. But with no confirmed claim, the odd fins remained an unsolved mystery. Greeting gator. Out in the wild, one thing's for sure. You are bound to encounter a wild creature out of the blue that will leave you questioning your decision to even come out. And this guy here seemed to have gone through something similar. Riding a boat, this guy noticed a gator slithering from a distance toward him, stopped just near the boat, then out of nowhere, jumped the boat, scaring the living daylights out of the guy. He lost his balance for a moment, but thankfully the boat was fast enough to leave the gator behind. It's clear you should never be unsuspecting in the vicinity of these beasts. Extinct came back. When a woman in a Chinese village got her home's waste pipe stuck, she didn't expect to find the rarest animal in the country. When she opened up the pipe, there was a giant salamander stuck in there. The woman was shocked to see it, as it's so rare, almost on the verge of extinction, and she thought it might be there for as long as 2 years, because that's how long she was facing the stuck pipe issue. Giant salamanders are the world's largest living amphibians, also known as living fossils, because they've remained mostly unchanged for about 170 million years. Hunched figure. Exploring the wild outdoors, you can come across anything, like these creatures that seem to be waiting just for you. But wait, it's not real. It's an incredible sculpture by an artist. The swamp monster looked so lifelike that it might startle you at first, but once you realize it's made of seaweed, mud, and algae, you'll just be amazed. These materials give it its dynamic look, almost like it's alive and breathing. The sculptures can even change color over time, blending seamlessly with the natural surroundings. It's like they belong in the wilderness. So while they may seem spooky at first glance, these sculptures are a fascinating mix of art and nature. Niagara Monster.
Look at that!
Back in 2009, a man was visiting the Niagara River when he noticed the strangest thing in the water. A giant snake-like creature was captured swimming underwater.
This in the Niagara River.
Its huge size was unlike any animal he had ever seen. And the sheer size of that thing was enough to make the guy believe it might be the Loch Ness Monster taking a swim in the Niagara River. When the clip was posted online, folks jumped to conclusions saying it might be some giant marine creature.
Wow.
However, skeptics suggested the clip was probably just a hoax. Lethal embrace. Alligator and Anaconda, two of the most feared reptiles in the world. Have a look at them in a very bizarre position. Are these two hugging? Well, it looks like the Anaconda has got the gator in its tight grip, who are known for their lethal constriction. But the gator seems too unfazed to look like it was anything dangerous. It's like the face-off of two giants. How's that serpent even going to swallow that gator? The guy recording the clip didn't want to be a part of a splashy fight and decided to leave them alone. Here's another similar clip. A huge python constricting a crocodile. And this clip kinda makes sense, as the crocodile is smaller than the python, and the snake seemed to have taken it down and was probably now thinking of swallowing it whole. Fishy rain. Water rain is pretty old school. Let's have a look at this bizarre rain where fish fell from the sky. Pretty strange, right? Netizens thought it was a curse from the sea gods for overfishing, but the phenomenon turned out to be more than just a local folklore. This bizarre incident is actually called animal rain and can happen when smaller creatures get swept up in water during storms and then get dropped onto the ground. Strange swimmer. This might look like some alien creature has descended and was taking a dip underwater, with 2 limbs. And what was that sharp thing? Its tail? The clip was captured by a guy who was out on a kayaking trip. When he saw this thing swimming near the boat, he couldn't help but record the strange sight. And the clip got a lot of attention online as people tried to identify it. When rumors about it being some creature out of this world spread, one of the folks came forward saying this swimming critter was actually a loon, an aquatic bird swimming underwater. Alien skeleton. This picture of an alleged alien skeleton has been making rounds on the internet. Apparently, a Mexican farmer found this skeleton on his farm and thought it was definitely an extraterrestrial carcass. Many people on the internet came to support the theory, saying it resembled the Anaconda skeleton turned up in Chile. Although that mystery was solved by scientists saying it was a mutated human fetus,
But scientists tell us that Ada is definitely a human.
many people still don't believe that. And this skeleton from Mexico might just be another mutated fetus. But who's to say for sure, as no experts were involved in the discovery. Black UFO. This black UFO was spotted over General Carrera Lake in Chile on March 8, 2024. During a sail on the lake, a group witnessed this unusual event. Although they say multiple black objects were flying near the lake's surface, they were only able to capture one of them. The unusual sighting raised dozens of questions about its origin and what they were doing over the lake, with many saying it was an alien vehicle from another universe. What are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments. Tapa Curse. This river was famous for having a monster that constantly attacked local pets and farm animals. Residents called it the Tapa Curse and believed a tapa fish was to blame. When Jeremy Wade, a well-known biologist, came to the area, he wanted to find out the truth. Putting in the bait, they waited for the fish to bite. Eventually, they caught a huge tapa fish. It had huge whiskers, a dark body that seemed to go on, and had eyes bigger than its stomach. Its mouth was filled with tiny razor-sharp teeth that could chop up its prey in seconds. It was clear this fish was behind the attacks. They studied it for a while, and then let it go back into the river. Shark Tooth Hunt.
Know what it is. We should probably know what it is before we involve anybody else.
A group of friends in North Carolina went shark tooth hunting at a local creek and stumbled upon an ancient discovery they never expected. As they sifted through the sandy soil, they found many millennia-old shark teeth. Not far away, one of them noticed a jawbone submerged in the water. Initially, they thought it might belong to an animal, but when they found a skull that resembled a human, they were certain these were human remains. They called the authorities on the spot and handed over their discovery.
We just found a human skull and human jaw. It looks pretty old.
However, since the skull and jaw were quite decayed, experts couldn't determine their age. This left the age of the remains a mystery. Yellow fish. At first glance, it might look like a banana stuck between the pillars, but when you look closely, its eyes and movements became more visible, and you could tell it's a living creature moving around, probably trying to get free from the pillars. After struggling for a while, it finally managed to get free and swam away. The guy who was filming the video had no idea what that fish was, so he posted the clip online, where some said it was either a mutant fish or an undiscovered species. But no one could tell for sure what the fish really was. If you have any guesses, let me know in the comments. Sea serpent. While fishing off the coast of Vietnam, these fishermen reeled in the catch of a lifetime. They were shocked to find a long serpent-like creature in their fishing net. Taking a closer look, they found it was actually an oarfish, and that's a super rare catch to make, as they live really deep in the ocean. They measured the fish to be about 12 feet long. That's about as tall as an African elephant. Considered as a bad omen in many cultures, these guys showed off their catch and then let it go back into its deep-sea home. Fish charmer. You've all probably heard about a snake charmer before, but have you heard about fish whisperers? You might be thinking, what even is that? Well, it's this guy right here. He lured the fish in with a little treat, used his bare hands to gather the fish near him, and the fish were all there for the food. And see how calmly he put the treat in their mouth and then let them get away. If that's not fish charming, I don't know what is. Giant gator. This guy's routine fishing day was interrupted by a giant thing lying on a tiny patch of ground near the river. When he went in for a closer look, he found that it was a huge crocodile. When he noticed its motionless state, he gathered the courage and picked up its tail. But it still remained unmoved. Checking it from head to tail, he found that the reptile was probably deceased, so he didn't investigate further and just left it there. River on fire.
Have a look at this. The Condamine River on fire.
A river on fire? This man visited the Condamine River in Australia and was surprised to discover this sight. When he saw the river water bubbling, he tried to light it on fire. And surprisingly, it worked. The water was actually bubbling with natural gas, and that was the cause of the fire in the river. It's a natural phenomenon for gas to burst out of the ground, but locals believed it was due to the fracking site nearby, meaning a plant was installed to crack the rocks and get gas out of the ground. Human remain bonanza. Back in 2019, a group of friends went out on an island exploration. Expecting to encounter exotic wildlife, discovering a lake filled with human remains was the last thing on their minds. But they encountered a lake exactly like this. Finding jawbones, leg bones, and skulls lying around like stones, it was like a human remain exhibition. It was rumored that the most dangerous prisoners were sent to this island and were left there till the end of their days. With no proof that these remains were actually of prisoners, the group thought it was best to leave them alone. Black fish. This man was out on a fishing escapade when his line caught a very unusual fish. A jet blackfish, a stark contrast to the murky waters. And it didn't want to be caught. See how it thrashed around to get free. If you're wondering what kind of fish is that, well, let me tell you, this is an alligator garfish. And not just any gar. This one is melanistic, meaning it's got a load of pigments in it, hence the black hue. Nature's pretty cool, even in the murky depths. Snake Feast. After casting the bait, this man was waiting for a catch when he spotted a massive anaconda resting by the shore. However, something seemed off about the snake. Upon closer inspection, he noticed its gaping mouth and swollen belly. It was in the middle of a meal. Since snakes often regurgitate their meal when disturbed, this one did just that. But the surprise came from what it was devouring: a fellow anaconda. The prey, still alive, took the chance to escape, while the predator also slinked away, giving up its meal altogether. Human ashes.
What's that? I don't know. Am I recording?
During a snorkeling adventure in the river, this team of divers stumbled upon a bizarre discovery. They noticed a box submerged in the river. Deciding to investigate, they took it out. Inside the box was a heavy bag filled with sand. Finding it weird, why would someone pack a box full of sand? But when they went in for a closer examination, they were shocked to find that the bag actually contained ashes. Human remains, to be exact.
I think that's a person.
The eerie part, these remains appear to have been packed and discarded long ago, possibly centuries ago. After finding out the truth, the bag of powdered remains was respectfully returned to its original resting place in the river. Fishy Feast. Someone's loss is another's gain, and here we have the perfect example. These fish seem to have unfortunately lost their lives when the cameraman took a closer look. He found quite a frenzy around the long-gone fish. A ton of giant water bugs were having a feast on the fish. That was creepy, as well as an amazing sight of these bugs playing their role as aquatic recyclers. half fish. What's something that lives underwater and can live without half its body? It's this fish. Forget about headless chicken. Bodiless fish is the new cool, swimming in the Maldive waters with only a head and front fins to propel its body underwater. How did it end up in this state? Probably some predator bit it off, or it got ripped off on an angler's line, but no one knew how it was still swimming. This fish sure was the true example of resilience. Gigantic pale fish. Catching a massive fish can make any fisherman's day. And boy, did these guys' day get made. Fishing in the Heilongjiang River in China, these guys were left completely shocked when they reeled in a gigantic fish weighing around 660 pounds and 10 feet long. Ghostly pale in color, it turned out to be a Kaluga sturgeon. As these fish usually swim in the deep waters, coming to the surface, the sudden pressure change caused it to spill its stomach. In efforts to conserve it, they put it in a giant tub filled with water. River rescue. This guy's boating trip turned into a rescue mission when he noticed a strange thrashing in the water. When he slowed down for a closer look, he found that it was a black bear suffocating as its head was trapped in a plastic box. He took hold of the plastic box and tried his best to take it off its head, and he succeeded as the box came off. This is exactly the reason why we need to stop throwing our waste into the rivers and stop using plastic. Thankfully, this guy was there to help out the bear. Otherwise, it wouldn't have ended well for it. Two-headed catfish. A two-headed catfish may sound like a creature from mythology, but guess what? It's actually real. In November of last year, a small two-headed catfish was captured from a river. It's quite rare to find something like this, as these mutants often don't survive long. After all the odds, this small catfish with a fully grown second head in place of its tail was filmed. Many viewers made jokes about the fish. Some claimed it was a hoax. However, the way the creature was wriggling seemed very real. What are your thoughts on this unusual find? Snake. A fisherman out in the water encountered some strange creatures sticking out of the water. Using his paddle stick, he poked it and found that it was actually an anaconda wrapped around a capybara. These water-dwelling serpents are known hunters of capybaras. It's got the rodent in a tight embrace, and it's leaving no chance for its escape. Taking it underwater, it's dinner time for that anaconda. Gator Land.
Oh, tanto, gente.
Seeing one or two gators near a swamp sounds quite normal, as they like the murky environment. That's what these villagers near the Pantanal in Brazil thought, not having any idea it would turn into a gator haven. It's like the whole city worth of gators have flocked to the area. Imagine having to cross that wetland. These reptiles were the reason why the locals avoided visiting the area altogether.
Vida selvagem. Olha.
Bison skull.
Oh my goodness, look at the spread on those horns.
While exploring the region near the river, this guy made an extraordinary discovery. At first, thinking it's just a bison skull, when he took a closer look, he was shocked to see it was actually a bison antiquus skull.
But I believe this is a bison antiquus. Oh my.
An ancient bison that used to live about 10,000 years ago. Lying in the sand, the huge skull was an ancient fossil. The guy was amazed by its huge horn spread, almost 30 inches long.
Look at the spread on those horns, that's probably 30 inches.
Piranha feeding. Now, check out this feeding frenzy of piranha fish near the shore. Under the boat, there seemed to be something moving vigorously. When the man dropped some food into the water, an entire horde of fish emerged. They splashed around eagerly as if they were waiting to be fed, and quickly jumped at the food as soon as it dropped. You must think they were pretty hungry, but that's just the way they are when they're around food. Sea creature. Back in 2018, a man enjoying the view by the Tinmouth Haven spotted something strange swimming on the water's surface. Out of curiosity, he recorded the odd snake-like creature lurking underwater, but all he could capture of it was its tail. When he shared the video, it sparked a lot of speculation among viewers about the creature's identity. Some suggested it might be the legendary Loch Ness Monster, but with no distinct features of the creature in sight, nothing could be said for sure. Alien creature.
Here we go. Oh my gosh, is it slimy!
While exploring the Pacific coast in the US, these guys came across something unusual that grabbed their attention. There, in the water, was a massive black blob. Upon pulling it out, one of the guys instantly identified it as a black sea hare, a pretty large species of sea slug commonly found along the coastline. Given their size and alien-like appearance, encountering one of these creatures can be very startling if you're not familiar with them. After examining it for a while, the guys released it back into the water. Trapped snake. This fisherman was out collecting the fish his nets had collected overnight. Rowing his boat into the murky water, he came across something that absolutely scared him. Suddenly, a snake emerged from the water that seemed to be hanging off by a trap. It probably got stuck in there while making its way in the water. And now, its unmoving state meant it was deceased. The guy took it out of the trap and then decided it was best to let the water be its final resting place. Returning it back into the water, he continued his journey. Lake Mystery.
And there's something just bubbling up from the bottom of the lake.
A guy visiting Norman Lake captured something incredibly strange when he noticed an unknown phenomenon on the water's surface. It started bubbling vigorously at various spots, creating large ripples and impacts. After a brief pause, the mysterious disturbance resumed. Surprisingly, this puzzling activity persisted for over 10 minutes, yet nothing emerged from the water. The video quickly went viral, with many online users suggesting titles for the unidentified entity. Amidst all the speculation, the true nature of the bubbling phenomenon remained a mystery.
And there's something just bubbling up from the bottom of the lake.
This picture making rounds on the internet was captured when locals near a village in Indonesia spotted this massive and gruesome creature floating in a river. Villagers estimated its size to be around 23 meters long and 4 meters wide. The bizarre thing spread fear all across the village, and they tried not to go near it. Some residents speculated that it could be the legendary river monster from ancient folklore. Others suggested it might be the decomposing remains of a marine mammal. What do you think this creature could be? Thank you very much for watching the video. Do like it and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to not miss any of the upcoming amazing videos. Thank you once again.